Alright, hello guys and welcome back. With the release of the Ash and Iron major update, 4 brand new armor sets were added to the game that came with their own unique 2 and 4 piece set bonuses. And now that the epic raid has made its way into the game, we finally have access to all 4 sets, because the raid itself came with its own refreshed armor set. So today we're going to be breaking down exactly what each of the 4 new sets do for both their 2 and 4 piece bonuses, the likes of which include the Smoke Jumper, Disaster Core, Iron Beryllium and Wayward Psyche sets. And if you want a quick rundown of the original 8 set bonuses that released with Edge of Fate, then definitely check out my previous video breaking them down and make your way back here. But without further ado, let's get into it. And if you enjoyed today's content, then a like and subscribe is greatly appreciated, especially in times like these. Starting things off, we have the Smoke Jumper armor set, which is earned from either solo or Fireteam Ops portal activities. The 2-piece Ride Together, Die Together bonus reads like so. When you pick up an Orb of Power, gain a brief period of rapidly decaying damage reduction. So, taking a look in-game, collecting an Orb of Power grants the Ride Together, Die Together buff for 3 seconds on the left of your screen, and as it turns out, for each second you have the buff, a varying amount of damage resistance is applied to you. For the first second, it's 45%, for the second, it's 30%, and then for the final third second, it's 15%, which across the entire 3 seconds is an average 30% damage resistance, which is honestly really good. So good, matter of fact, that I grinded 2 pieces of this set to prepare myself for the Day 1 epic Desert Perpetual race, as it really comes in handy when dealing with certain attacks like the Korgos laser beam, and especially if you're in a squad that's placing tons of welds and you have hunters genning orbs via their golden guns, you'll be surprised how much this perk can help you. Not to mention, in a full fire team of 6, there's bound to be orbs on the floor almost always. That said though, it's definitely a bit of an overkill, but for a build where you're making plenty of orbs or a situation like a raid where they're readily available, it's a very welcome addition that you don't even have to think about. After that, the 4-piece Too Old for This bonus states that defeating a powerful combatant with a finisher grants you special ammo progress and replenishes a small amount of health. So what this means is that finishing either an elite, mini-boss, champion, or crushing a hive ghost will trigger the aforementioned effect. And as far as the potency is concerned, a regular finisher grants this much special ammo progress and restores 0 health. However, with the full 4-piece set, the finisher grants noticeably more progress. In fact, it's a small bump in the bar, about 16% roughly, and restores exactly 35 HP, which all things considered is pretty good. But as a 4-piece investment, well, I'm hesitant to recommend it. The benefits aren't significant enough and would actually fit better as a 2-piece bonus for a separate set entirely. Still though, Smoke Jumper overall is definitely a very solid PvE option, and I would strongly recommend considering the 2-piece bonus for your builds, especially if you're always making plenty of orbs. As a reminder, if you're at least 470 power, you only need to reach an A rating for solo or Fireteam Ops to begin dropping tier 5 versions of this armor set. And given how Bungie have been improving the portal recently, it actually doesn't take terribly long to reach this power threshold. Moving on, next we have the new Disaster Core armor that can be earned from Crucible Ops portal activities. The 2-piece Please Herd bonus reads like so. Reloading an auto rifle, scout rifle, or sidearm after a final blow slowly restores health until you re-enter combat. So, taking a look in-game, reloading after a kill with my auto rifle begins steadily regenerating my health at a rate of 12.5 HP per second. And even while stowed, this effect still persists. It'll only be interrupted if you deal or receive damage while the buff is active. And just for some context, Restoration ×1 is an uninterruptible 35 HP per second source of healing. So it's about 1/3 as effective as Resto ×1 that's also interruptible, which for PvE basically makes it a no-go since there are so many better healing options, not to mention it only works with auto rifles, scout rifles, or sidearms. Though I can see the value of this in somewhere like PvP instead, which after all is the place where it comes from. If you're looking for an armor set bonus that provides healing, you're much better off with either the 2-piece Twofold Crown, which grants 70 HP when collecting an ammo brick, or the 2-piece Bushido, which grants 35 HP after scoring a kill with a freshly drawn or reloaded weapon. The 4-piece Magnificent Duty bonus is listed as the following. When you reach critical health or heal an ally at critical health, auto rifles, scout rifles, and sidearms gain a period of increased range, stability, and reload speed. And just so you know, critical health refers to the red portion of your health bar, and upon entering this state or healing an ally who's critical, you gain exactly +20 to range, stability, and reload speed, and a 10% reload scalar. And to its credit, the reload bonus is fairly noticeable and pairs quite well with a support frame auto rifle, which by the way, a new one has just been added in the form of the Void Cusp Sempiternal from the epic Desert Perpetual raid, which grants Void Overshield to your allies. But again, I think this bonus is more aimed at PvP players who like to mess with autos, scouts, or sidearms and want to improve their dueling potential with the added stat bonuses that this armor provides. So for PvE, this does not get my stamp of approval approval. Speaking of PvP armor sets, up next we have the Iron Beryllium set, which is earnable exclusively from Iron Banner. The 2-piece Vigilant Watch bonus states that as your health gets lower, your weapons gain increased stability and handling. Weapon final blows while your shields are depleted heal you. And from my testing, I cannot say that the stability and handling bonuses were terribly noticeable, and as for the healing, if you become critically wounded, scoring a weapon kill will grant you 30 HP that's also on a rather lengthy 5-second cooldown. And I know this video is more supposed to be a showcase rather than a review, but this is just a worse version of the 2-piece Bushido bonus. However, not all is bad with this armor set because the 4-piece bonus is actually pretty interesting. The 4-piece Iron Conviction bonus reads like so. When your shields become broken, you gain increased ammo generation, flinch resistance, and damage resistance against nearby combatants for a short time. Final blows extend this effect. So, taking a look, becoming critical grants the Iron Conviction buff on the left of your screen for 7 seconds, and while this buff is active, you gain plus 30 ammo gen to all of your weapons, and a 15% damage resistance as long as you're within 15 meters of an enemy, which realistically is quite easy to achieve. And the best part, this effect is infinitely refreshable via kills from any source. It can be weapons, abilities, whatever. As far as 4-piece bonuses go, this one isn't actually that bad at all. A tad finicky to trigger given that you need to become critical. However, once you have it, it's quite easy to maintain and persist even if you regen above critical. And a neat combo I found was using a Psycho Pump from Episode Heresy. This thing has a base ammo generation stat of 70 without any mods to boost it. So with the Iron Conviction bonus, this goes to exactly 100, and in general, area denial frame grenade launchers are pretty good for generating ammo since you can spread them across a ton of different enemies, so just something to consider if you're a fan of the weapon. Finally, we have the Wayward Psyche set that is exclusive to the epic version of the Desert Perpetual raid. The 2-piece Special Relativity bonus reads like so. Picking up ammo reloads stowed special weapons from reserves. And yup, it does exactly what it says. Walking over an ammo brick, doesn't matter if it's special or heavy, reloads my stowed mint retrograde to full, which I had previously unloaded. Definitely a bit of a niche set bonus that might see some use in PvP, but at that point you could also just use a holster mod. So overall, a pretty weak set bonus, but does the 4-piece make up for it? The 4-piece Superluminal Motion bonus states that after dealing damage with your super, health and shields regenerate over time while you are in motion. Additional super damage refreshes this effect, and as you can see, dealing super damage, then cancelling it with a quick subclass swap leaves me with the Superluminal Motion buff lasting for 10 seconds, and as I'm moving, damaging myself shows that my health is indeed regenerating, which can I just say is quite possibly the weirdest set bonus I've ever reviewed. I just cannot see a situation where this would be good to have, perhaps if you were brought down to 1 HP during your super. However, that's rather unlikely to happen because most roaming supers have an intrinsic 90% damage resistance baked in. So I guess it's just to top off your health while in super, making you truly invincible? Hard to say really, and as for the healing itself, it appears to be about 10 to 12 HP per second, which is nothing crazy. I also tested it with a roaming super and it does still work, but again, it's just a really weird set bonus. This armor set is so strange and is the polar opposite of its normal mode counterpart, which is actually really good, with the 4-piece extending the duration of all Radiant, Restoration, Sever, and Suspend effects by 50%. And you'd think that an armor set from the Epic raid, a harder variant of it, should be the same potency, if not better. But sadly, this isn't the case. Before we end off, there is actually a new miscellaneous feature that pertains to armor sets, and that is to do with the new mod slot that Festival of the Lost Masks are due to be receiving. And reading the Costume Ion Adapter armor mod as an example, it states that it converts this armor to the Ion Adapter armor set, reducing the requirements for its set bonus perks by 1. So it appears that wearing a Halloween mask will allow you to equip a set bonus configuration that presumably allows you to run both a mask and exotic while maintaining a 4-piece set bonus. Or if you went no exotic, both a 2 and a 4-piece bonus simultaneously, which sounds pretty interesting, but we'll have to wait and see what it looks like once the event rolls around in a little under 3 weeks time. For this last section, I briefly want to highlight some set bonus combos that I would recommend chasing if you're really into fully min-maxing your gear. And in my opinion, the best general purpose armor set combo has to be the 2-piece Ion Adapter set and the 2-piece Smoke Jumper set, because for simply getting a kill with a micro missile, such as those from Mint Retrograde, the Ion set provides a 20% splash damage reduction for 15 seconds, and if you have a Strand Siphon on, collecting the orbs from Pulse Rifle kills also grants you 3 seconds of 30% average damage resistance, perfect for any team-based endgame content. Per my last video, the full 4-piece TechSec armor is still really good for any kinetic enthusiasts out there, and the 4-piece Collective Psyche set from regular Desert Perpetual is still S tier for any builds that revolve heavily around Radiant, Restoration, or Suspend effects. Overall though, with regards to the newly added set bonuses, the only ones worth considering for PvE are the 2-piece Smoke Jumper and maybe be the 4-piece Iron Beryllium. Still though, I'm glad that these bonuses exist now, as it allows the armor system to be all the more interesting. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video and perhaps learned something new. That's all I've got for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, dear viewer.